This is a presentation on the ASSURE method of instructional design. ASSURE is an acronym for Analyze, Standard, Select, Utilize, Require, and Evaluate. We will go into more depth about each of these further in the presentation. Robert Hynek is credited with the creation of the ASSURE model. In 1982, he wrote about the method in a text called Instructional Media, the New Technologies of Instruction. Since its inception, the model has evolved as technology has evolved, and other authors such as Michael Melinda and James Russell are attached to the model through the text Instructional Media and Technologies for Learning. With more recent additions, authors such as Sharon Smaldino, Deborah Lauer, and Cliff Mims have also updated the text. The main focus of the model is to produce more effective teaching and learning using technology. Applications of this model are numerous. I want to highlight two of them. The first is a study conducted at Valdosta State University. 39 graduate-level students working on their EDS and instructional technology developed units using the ASSURE method to be implemented in their K-12 classrooms. The results of the study showed that the ASSURE units had a positive influence on learners of all ages and subjects receiving instruction. As well, teachers showed that it encouraged student-centered lessons which were active and engaging. To quote the summary of the study, the majority of the students appear to experience more success when information is presented using technology and media. A second case study focused on designing instruction for a group of male primary school students in Iran. The objective of the study was how to cross the road safely on the way to school. The study targeted three primary behaviors. 1, looking for vehicles on the street. 2, being cautious of dangers. And 3, crossing in safe places. The results of the study showed positive increases in participant awareness of safe and unsafe practices. The study highlights the flexibility of the ASSURE method and proves that it is effective regardless of age, gender, or nationality. The careful sequential planning built into the ASSURE model proves that success does not just happen, it is planned for. Each step is learner-centered and creates a map to guide teachers to successful outcomes and students to close learning gaps. Let's look at each step in more detail. Step 1 of the ASSURE method is to analyze your learners. Instructional design addresses gaps in learning. To understand the gaps, you must understand your audience. Step 2 of the ASSURE method is to state standards and objectives. Teaching with the end in mind is the basis of standards-based instruction. The ABCs of well-stated learning objectives must be followed. A, who is our audience? B, what behaviors did we desire to see from our students? C, under what conditions are we assessing that performance? And D, to what degree of comprehension does that performance need to show us? Step 3 deals with selecting the tools that are to be used in the instructional design. Select tools which will address gaps in different types of learning styles. The goal will ultimately culminate in creating a perfect outcome. The select process decides what materials and methods are essential for increasing student performance. Just like the recipe of a good cake, the right ingredients have to go in. Step 4 involves the choosing of what forms of materials and media to utilize to accomplish the identified learning targets. Technology, print, and visual media are integrated with research-based strategies to create meaningful learning experiences for your students. Unlike the image above, there is a planned rather than shotgun approach to learning. Step 5. Each activity in the design has to involve learner participation. Whether it's creating a video, newspaper article, building a project, or performing an experiment, students have to be actively engaged in the process. The final step of the Assure process is to evaluate and, if necessary, revise. Ask, did the design positively impact student learning? If it did not, then the method is revised and retried. The process of development is continuous. Recently, I was able to apply the Assure method to a cross-curricular unit for a math science teacher in 6th grade. We analyzed the learning gap in math and understanding ratios and proportion. Our stated standards and objective was to relate their recent study of the solar system to understanding ratio and proportions. We selected a unit from NASA and included a field trip to the Bradley Observatory. We utilized the activities in the NASA unit as well as the activities at the planetarium and the model of the solar system at Agnes Scott that required active learner participation. At the end of next week, we will evaluate if the unit improves student understanding of ratios and proportions.